How are y'all today? Hey, if you haven't guessed already, we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Cursed Child today. Ah, nerd alert. Yep, that's me. Um, sorry, my husband always is telling me I'm a nerd and a geek and stuff for my little love for things like Harry Potter and Star Wars and Doctor Who, but that's neither here nor there. Today we're talking about Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. If you have not gotten your copy and you are curious, should I go and buy it? Should I check it out from my library? Or should I just skip it all together? This may be the video for you. I'm not going to be giving away any spoilers. I'm just going to be giving my own personal opinion about it without giving away the plot or anything like that. Just to let you know, I did not purchase this book. It was not sent to me. I actually picked this little gem up at my local library. I know, shocker, libraries still exist. Get to them, honey. Libraries are awesome. Here in this town, we have a really tiny one. It's like one room, and it's not super huge, but I love it. It's got a really great selection of kids' books. Nothing like where we lived before, where it was like a 4-story library, and each floor was a different, like there was a kids' floor, a teens' floor, fiction, nonfiction, all that jazz. This isn't like it, but I love it. I actually like it more than I like that library, just because it has a very homey feel. And if they don't have it in that library, there is an interlibrary section, interlibrary web or whatever, where they can have it sent from another library like Dallas all the way here, and trust me, I'm sure there's a big one in Dallas, or Tyler, which is a close city, and have it sent here so that we can pick it up. Anyhow, we go about weekly to get a mess ton of books because my kids love story time. They love me to read before naps and bed, and they don't like me to read a lot of the same books. So even though we have a pretty hefty home library, because I kept all my books as a kid, and my parents kept all their books as a kid, so I have tons of books already that are kid friendly, we still go and get some new products to kind of shift in and out. And like I said, we go weekly and get about 24 books, maybe a little more, just for the kids, not including my selection. Anyhow, so it just so happened that last week when I was at the library checking out that week's selection of books, I happened to glimpse on the back shelf this little baby right here, and I was so excited. I looked at the librarian and I said, "Oh my gosh, you have Harry Potter and the Cursed Child." And he looked at me and goes, "Oh my gosh, we do." And I said, can you sign me up for the wait list? Because I'm sure there's a wait list. I really want to be on the wait list as quickly as possible. He goes, "Well, actually, we just got it in this afternoon. There's not a wait list." Ah! Okay, so long story short, I got the Harry Potter book, and I don't have a lot of time to read. I'm a busy mom, and I normally only get about maybe 30 minutes right before bed to be able to read that I kind of set aside to do reading that I may want to do. Sometimes it gets taken away with having to catch up on extra chores that weren't finished already earlier in the day, but I will say for 30 minutes a day, for 3 days, I finished the book. That should give you a hint on the length of it. I know it looks pretty hefty like most of the normal Harry Potter books, but it's not a book. So that brings me to my first point. If you're expecting a book written in the same kind of format like the original Harry Potter, you will be sorely disappointed. This is not a book. Sure, it is put inside of a hard cover in the shape of a book. It is not a book. This is a play, honey. It is written out with the actors' names and the lines for which they will be repeating. There is very little insight or descriptiveness that was written in the way the original Harry Potter series was done. And that's fine, because it was not meant to be a book. And it wasn't written strictly by J.K. Rowling. It's written by J.K. Rowling in collaboration with John Tiffany and Jack Thorne. So it's not meant to be the same as the Harry Potter books. This is the play. This is meant for us to see it, not just necessarily read it. I do have to say, I think that you need a pretty vivid imagination with this, because unlike the Harry Potter books where J.K. Rowling puts things out so beautifully, where it takes a little imagination to already get that picture in your head of what Hogwarts is and what the characters may look or act like, or their mannerisms, you need a lot of imagination to get that here. And you may have already gotten a kind of good backstory into the area, or how do I say this? You probably already have a good imagination left over from when you read the original Harry Potter books. If not, get those first and read that before you read this. If it's been a while, kind of refresh your brain into the world of Harry Potter again. Just to kind of give you a little taste of, no spoilers, but to kind of give you a little taste of, this is probably the most descriptive part inside of the book of one of the areas. It's Act 1, Scene 5, page 29. It says, Hermione sits with piles of paper in front of her in Harry's messy office. She is slowly sorting through it all. Harry enters in a rush. He is bleeding from a graze on his cheek. And then it goes into the actors verbally talking back and forth. You don't get the description of what their mannerism was. Were they sitting, standing? Were they moving about the room nervously? Nothing like that. You have to use your imagination. And if you have already read the originals, then you will kind of have an idea as to what their mannerisms may already be like. So for me, that's not a big deal. For someone who has a hard time imagining that already, it will probably be a big deal for you. So just a heads up. Another thing that you may be disappointed about reading this is really not a book about Harry Potter. Yes, his name is on the title. I'll give you that. This is a book about his son Albus. Yes, it has to do, the main whole plot of the story is Albus and his relationship with his best friend, and then Albus and his relationship with his father, and how they meld together in this world that has been created here in this book. So you're getting... And the play is bringing all this together for you. I'm not going to tell you who his best friend is, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going on with his relationship with his dad or his siblings. We already know that he has siblings. We already know what his family ends up being. J.K. Rowling plants that all perfectly at the end of the last book for us. So that's not something that should come as a shock to you. But like I said, this is not a book about Harry. This is a book about Albus. So you need to kind of go in with that aspect. The other thing that I heard many people complaining about was that that they didn't see their favorite characters. I can give you three of the main ones in here, or I'll give you four of them that are brought up sporadically through the book. You've got Harry, who of course is beloved from the originals. You got Hermione and you got Ron, and then you also have Draco. And you already have an idea of what these people are like. And people are complaining that they don't see what was reflected in the previous books in this book. And the thing is, you shouldn't expect that of them. All of these people are not who they used to be. They are now adults. They are not kids in school. They are not single. They are not having to listen to their parents or guardians or teachers and stuff. They are adults with children of their own, with jobs. And so that should reflect in the way that they act and verbally communicate with one another. So Harry Potter's not going to be the same as he was inside the previous books, especially since a lot of it you're seeing it through Albus's eyes and not just straight from Harry Potter's point of view. Be that as it may, I think that the writers did a wonderful job portraying Harry Potter, because I think he, of course, should have matured. And from that little clip that I just read to you, you can already tell that with all the paperwork on his desk, he sounds like he's overworked. I mean, what parent is not stressed because of their kids and what's going on at their jobs and maybe financial and home or whatever? You're going to have that kind of added stress, and that is going to change your attitude. I know one time I was told by someone who I hadn't talked to since high school, they're like, man, you used to be so bubbly in high school, and now you're so serious. And I thought, well, in high school, I worked part-time and spent the rest of my time out at the barn. I didn't have 2 hungry mouths to feed, a house to keep up, and bills to keep up with, and all that fun jazz. So I'm not always going to be happy-go-lucky like I used to be. And Harry's the same way. He's not that he was happy-go-lucky, but he's not going to be the same that he was in Hogwarts. He is an adult. He has a job. He has children, and he's having to figure out that relationship of being a father with his children, because I mean, just thinking of it from, I had a parent to guide me on how I need to be, and Harry Potter didn't. He had role models, teachers, and such like as that. So I think that the authors did a great point in giving that description of him. As far as the descriptions of like Ron and Hermione, I thought they were really great too. I think they really captured the essence of who the characters were inside of the original Harry Potter books and brought them into this one with grace, and they help them to mature but keep their same identities. With Harry Potter, I feel like when I first started reading this, gosh, he's not the same person. And I felt like maybe he lost a little bit of who he was back at Hogwarts, and maybe he had to find it through the book. And I think that's what this is all about, is that his journey with his son Albus. So, long story short, I think that this is a great read. I loved it. As far as it being a book, it's not a book. It's a play. But if you got an imagination, you can totally get all the wonderful, the feelings and the emotions and just those ties that held you so close to it with the Harry Potter books, you can feel that again in this if you use your imagination. It's not going to be all written out plainly for you, so you got to fill in the blanks. And if you're a big fan, I think that you will really enjoy the book. Pardon me, my throat is really dry all of a sudden. Now, should you go out and buy the book right away? That's up to you. Like I said, I got mine at the library, and I'm very happy to support my local library. I love it, like I already mentioned, and I think it's great for us to be going to the library. We need to keep that up because this is a place where people who may not be able to afford a book right now can go. So if you want to still support the author, you can always make a donation to your library because your local library is going to be purchasing that book anyway. So the author's still getting some feedback from that. Anyhow, great book, and for any Harry Potter fan, I do think it's worth a read. Whether or not you feel like you should go out right away and get it or not, that's up to you. I do think that if it's been a while since you've read the originals, go back, read those first before you ever buy this or begin to read it. So that's my review on this. If you have any comments, you've read the book, I would love to hear your comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video like this, just give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see me doing some more nerd, geek kind of reviews, I would be more than happy to do them. So please leave me a comment down below with any suggestions of books you might want me to read, or movies, or maybe even like a TV series you think is awesome, because I would be happy to give you my little overview of it. Anyhow, that's all for this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.